Welcome everybody to Strength Training for Health. My name is Lauren Backus. I am a regional support staff at the Andover Regional Office helping out today. With us today, we have Jimmie Johnson and Greg Bockrath. Next slide, please. You get the next slide, Jimmie.
It's not letting me move that slide for some reason. Just give me host rights there.
That's all right. There we go. So welcome to the strength training. And next slide. So I'm here to help with any technical issues you may have. My contact information is listed on the slide. So if you have any tech issues, any questions, certainly reach out to me in the chat box, which you can find at the bottom of your screen. Otherwise, you can call or email me as well. Next slide. If you need closed captions, you can find the closed caption button on the bottom of the screen. You'll just click that button to activate it if that's something you'd like to utilize. Next slide. And I want to welcome Jimmie Johnson. He is an educator, extension educator, and Greg Bockrath, Isanti County health educator. So I will turn it over to them.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here on this hot day. Jimmie Johnson, as Lauren said earlier, I'm coming from you from Alpine County this morning, purple room at home here. We see the background in the purple room there. And my role with Extension is I focus on community-based physical activity promotion. I've been in the personal training industry for 22 years. I've been a strength conditioning coach as well. And then also I've been personally involved in weight training now. It's going to be 38 years this year. So I can, personally attest to the positive effects of training. And I'm going to turn it over to Greg here to talk about himself a little bit, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Hey, Greg Bockrath from Isanti County Public Health. My role here is a health educator. I have a Bachelor of Science in Health and Human Performance, certified personal trainer, certified wellness coach. My role with the county here is promoting statewide health improvement work. So I work with residents in the county and employers to improve the health.
I have a little bit of a delay here. The slides, I'm not sure. That happened the last time too, so we'll see here.
Are you clicking the arrows, Jimmie, or are you doing it on your keyboard?
I am doing it on the keyboard, the arrows up and down. I'm trying both here. And
okay. Can you advance it just by clicking on the arrows with your mouse? There we go.
Right. So yeah, thank you. Today's webinar objectives are we want to talk about understanding the benefits of strength training for health, talking about that for health today. Debunking some of the myths around resistance training, and then the end part, the fun part, is actually how to develop a successful program, effective program today for health. So one of the things that we want to do is we would like to find out a little bit more about you guys today, everybody. And so we're just gonna answer a few questions here. If you could look at the chat box for the first one there. Are you currently participating in a strength training program of any kind? You just want, again, just kind of get a feel for who's out there.
Since things are slowing down, it looks like 63% say no, 21% say yes, and 16% say on off.
Thank you. Next one. Let's see. Have you ever been injured lifting weights? For those of you that are currently training, do you have any injuries that have occurred? If you could share those, yes or no, that'd be great.
Looks like it's slowing down again. I got 78% that say no and 22% that say yes.
Thank you. Go to one more here. Another one. What type of equipment do you use, if any? Maybe some of you like to do more body weight training and you don't use any gear, equipment, but if you do, if you could share free weights, kettlebells, dumbbells, bands, things like that, machines.
Looks like it's slowing down again. We got kettlebells at 31%, free weights at 77%, and machines at 51%.
Thank you. And I believe this is our last one. Where do you prefer to work out? Home, commercial gym, possibly outside, any other locations that you guys like, everybody likes to train, for those that train?
Looks like it's slowing down again. I've got home gym at 64%, commercial gym at 43%, and other locations at 14%.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for participating in that. It's just kind of, like I said, gives Greg and I a little bit of a background today of where people are at. So we appreciate that. Okay, just a little thing here, disclaimer here. So for most people, a medical exam is not required before getting involved in weight training. However, if you do know that you have chronic health disease, diabetes, heart disease, things like that, we just recommend that you consult with a healthcare professional first before you get started in a program. Otherwise, most of us are good to go. All right, next slide. So we're gonna talk about here. So let's actually define what we're talking about today then. So what is strength training? So strength training, basic definition today, is our exercises designed to improve muscular strength and muscular endurance. Okay, and this also includes body weight movements, free weights, resistance bands, and machines. And then how this works is basically we are trying to force the muscles to adapt to some type of a stress resistance, whether that be the band, the machines, your body weight, and through that, then the muscle gets stronger and also at times bigger as well. It's larger. One of the key things that we want you guys to remember today, though, is something called progressive overload. And what that is again, what I previously said, we want to force the body to adapt. So we put, a weight in our hands, resistance. And so we're always trying to add more weight, more reps to overload the muscular system of the body. So I just want you guys to remember that. That's going to be a key principle here throughout our talk. I think it's really important to share with you today some of the benefits of strength training, resistance training. So I'm going to start with some of the physical benefits first. So we know that it can help reduce low back pain or the risk of injuring the lower back. It can also help increase bone density. For older folks, it can help reduce the incidence and the effect of falling down if that occurs. It also can help body composition. So we're going to increase the lean muscle mass in the body compared to the fat mass. It's going to actually change the shape of the body as then. And then also one thing that's really good is it just helps all the things that we have to do every day easier. So groceries and working, lifting your kids, grandkids up, hauling things up around. So there's that functional part of it as well. Aspect as well. The mental benefits are really interesting. And one of the things that we know is strength training, resistance training can really help with somebody's confidence. There isn't anything like being able to see, adding weight to the bar, making progress. You see it, you feel it, just helps give you some confidence, self-esteem. The focus aspect really helps a benefit as well. When you are really working out hard, focus, the only thing that you're really focusing on that time is what you're doing. So it's a good way to just be in the moment awareness. So we're mindful when we lift. And another mental benefit is it can help all of us have a positive body image. And so we gain a sense of what our bodies are capable of doing and can appreciate what our bodies can do. So those are some of the mental benefits of resistance training. I added also some social benefits as well. One of the things that research does show currently is that many people actually enjoy working out with other people. So this is one option that you can do is find a training partner, a gym, somewhere where you feel comfortable at. It can also provide a sense of camaraderie, accountability, knowing that your partner will be there for you and you there for them. And it also is a way to help promote positive, healthy relationships as well. All right, so we're going to look at it as far as guidelines of where this fits in. So we're going to look at something called the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans. The first edition came out in 2008, and then the other edition came out in 2018. And the next edition is set for 2028, I believe. And so basically, this is providing evidence-based research and best practices to help Americans improve their health through appropriate physical activity. So the physical activity guidelines for Americans. So for adults, we're looking at 18 and over here, basically. So when we're looking at overall movement, we're looking at adults, it's recommended that they're going to get 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity aerobic movement exercise. So that would be like a walk, brisk walk. So your heart rate's slightly elevated, but you can still talk. The other component that we're talking about today, if you look over to your right, though, is it's also recommended that 2 days per week that there is some form of muscle strengthening activity as well. So that's the part that Greg and I are focusing on today. And I'm going to turn it over to Greg here for part 2 to talk about some of the myths surrounding resistance training, right?
Yeah, thanks. So before we get into program design and how to do it, I wanted to dispel some of the most common myths that I've heard around strength training and kind of get those out of the way, so it makes that transition into strength training a little easier for you. I'll be going over all of these here, so take a good look at this slide and just kind of think to yourself if you've heard these things before, maybe you've thought these things before, but I'll do my best to clear them up for you. So this first one is that lifting weights will make you too bulky. The first thing I want to say about being too bulky and lifting weights is it's not going to happen overnight. Just because you lift something heavy and you're using your muscles, you will not bulk up overnight. This takes many, many years of consistent hard work, and the benefits from lifting far outweigh the potential of any bulk that you might put on. The muscle you build helps boost your metabolism, and it just helps your body function better. And the bulk you see associated with bodybuilders like this guy in the picture here, that is usually due to extra hormones being involved. We won't get into that today, but usually there's some extra stuff going on there. And this one I hear a lot from women too. Women don't tend to like to lift weights a lot in my previous experience, or too hard or too heavy because they feel like they're going to bulk up. But women just simply don't have the hormone profile that a male does to bulk up like this guy in the picture. So when you do build muscle, though, it does help the body look leaner. And that's one of the benefits from it. You know, women don't have the same ability to become the bulk, but lifting for women is beneficial. It helps tone up the body, it helps reduce the body fat, helps put the muscle on. It allows you to shape your body the way you want it to. But don't worry about getting bulky. It's not going to happen overnight. Next slide. Here's another one that only bodybuilders, power lifters, and athletes need to lift weights. I've had some people think they don't need to lift weights because they are not involved in sports, so they're not involved in activities where they would need to do that kind of thing. But strength training is for everyone. Everyone has muscles. Everyone has muscles to move their body. We need muscles to function. So the lifting of the weights only aids in your everyday daily function. Like Jimmie talked about earlier, lifting your kids and your grandkids and picking up the groceries. Helps you live a more independent, longer, healthier, more functional life. One good thing about lifting and strength training is that almost every exercise we come across can be modified. So anyone, no matter their fitness level, there can be modifications made to where you're able to do the exercise. You know, even elderly people, I got the lady in the middle here, this helps with bone density. So the lifting of the weights not only helps the muscles, but it helps the bones by putting on bone density, making those bones stronger. So in my opinion, weightlifting is for everyone and everyone should partake in it. Next slide. All right, here's another myth. You should be sore after every workout, or maybe we've heard the term no pain, no gain before. Soreness is not a good indicator of a workout. Your body usually becomes sore if you're new to starting a workout. If you work more intensely, you change up your routine. Maybe you get sore if you do another exercise and you kind of wake up some muscles that you haven't used in a while. So those are going to become sore once in a while. Now, you could do the same workout one day and soreness could also mean you were just dehydrated, fueled poorly. It was hot out, your nutrition wasn't on point. So soreness could mean one of those things too. But you don't have to be sore every single workout. It's not a good indicator of progress or a good indicator of how hard you worked. Pay attention to your workout and ask yourself how you feel. That's more of a better indicator on how you're progressing. Are you putting more weight on? Are you pushing harder mentally? Are you progressing, like the progressive overload that Jimmie talked about earlier? Try new exercises and just kind of push through those boundaries. And that's a good indicator of how your workout's going. But you don't need to be sore. Don't make yourself sore every workout. Next slide. Now this one, some people think that cardio is the best way to lose weight. So if you're interested in losing weight, weight training can also help with weight loss. A lot of times the treadmill and biking and running, that's very much so associated with weight loss. Put it in those long cardio sessions. But weight training can also help with weight loss in that it burns a lot of calories. Muscle requires a lot of calories to operate. And muscle burns more calories than fat even at rest. You have a good workout of lifting, your body continues to burn those calories after the workout because your muscles are still recovering and repairing. And anytime you get the heart rate up, I think it's a good thing. The weightlifting and the strength training, it does increase the heart rate for sure. So anytime you increase the heart rate, you're going to improve glucose control, you're going to improve your weight, you're going to improve your blood pressure, body composition, and it's going to speed up the metabolism overall. So I think a good combination of maybe some cardio and weightlifting will lead to weight loss if that's your goal. Next slide. Here's another one that you have to belong to a gym or buy expensive equipment. You have a body, your body is free. You can use body weight for push-ups and planks and squats and squat jumps and lunges and sit-ups and all sorts of things like that. Yoga and Pilates are even considered strength training since they rely on body weight resistance. But the main thing is don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a lot of fancy equipment. You can do it almost anywhere. The main indicator for a non-equipment workout is to just make sure you're pushing yourself hard enough to challenge your body. Always be challenging your body. And like Jim said earlier, when you're challenging your body, it improves that focus, it improves that body image, it empowers you to try something new and get out of your comfort zone and just make you a little more resilient overall. Next slide. Here's another one of I just want to tone up. The toning up. A lot of people think that if you lift real light and you kind of feel the burn, you might get a little more toning effect. So this one is kind of an old myth, like I said, that's brought on by high reps equals like a burning sensation. Really, the burning sensation is just lactic acid filling the muscles, and they're getting tired, but you're not doing any extra work. You're not putting in any extra muscle building when you feel that burn. But yeah, you're not burning fat when you get that muscle burn going on. What you really want to do is challenge the body, and Jim will talk about that, where what type of rep ranges to use in a little bit here. But toning up is really a reduction in body fat so that the muscles are visible, the body shape is visible. So that tone look people sometimes refer to is a reduction in body composition to see the shape of the muscles. And you can shape the muscles with strength training. Next slide. Strength training is ineffective for cardiovascular health. So a lot of times people think if they want to improve their heart health, they have to do cardio type activities, and cardio activities would be like longer distance cardiovascular type activities. When you lift hard and you challenge yourself, your heart is still pumping blood to your muscles. Your heart is definitely working, pumping oxygen and blood throughout the entire body. The harder you work, the heavier weights you use, the more demand you place on your heart. So your heart is working very hard. And then you take a rest in between your sets or your exercises. And it's very similar to an interval training type program you would do running or biking, where the heart speeds up and works really hard, and it takes a break and it rests, and it's called on again. It demands more blood and more pressure, so it speeds up again. So it's very similar to interval training in that weightlifting is. And so it doesn't mean you should abandon all aerobic type exercises like running or biking. But it is very good for developing your cardiovascular health and getting a good heartbeat and a good heart rate and getting that thing working. And it is always best to use both for cardiovascular health. And they both have their benefits. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Greg, for all the information or the myths. So let's go into the next part here, actually, the fun stuff, program design. So hopefully through this part here, Coach Greg and I will be able to answer some of these things, how many reps and how often I should train, how do I track my progress, which exercises should I do first, how much weight do I lift. So we'll try to, answer as much of this as we can. So yeah, feel free to add in the chat box as well, and we'll leave some time here at the end if you guys want to ask us things as well. So basically, when we're doing a workout, we're looking at the elements here: warming up, the workout itself, conditioning phase, and then the cool down. So warming up in this case could just mean even doing one set of just a lightweight first of the exercise that you're going to do, and then add weight, each time. Another way to warm up, you could also use some light aerobic movement. So, you could ride a bicycle, the treadmill, things like that. So the purpose is to raise the body temperature, helping reduce the risk of injuries to the tendons, the ligaments, the muscles, and just kind of help you get psyched up for your workout, your training session. And then at the end, another component that people oftentimes leave out is the cool down. And that's just as important to make sure that you cool down properly, the hormones return to their levels again before you started to work out. And this would also be the time where you could do some stretching at the end. So just want to make sure that all three parts of those are important in your training. A lot here. This is just some basic guidelines, and I mean basic. We're not going over everything here. Let's move this over here a little bit. So when we look at the different variables here, if you go to the left here, frequency, how often we train. So it's recommended right now, beginners, intermediates, 2 to 3 days per week. You want to train the major muscle groups of the body: legs, chest, arms, back. Okay. In terms of intensity, today we're going to talk about the last 2 reps of a set. So if you're going to do 10 reps, let's say, reps 9 and 10 should be moderately difficult. Okay, so just kind of put that in your thoughts right now. Let's go down to type. So type of movements, we're looking at multi-joint. So multi-joint movements are movements where you're going to work more than one group of muscles. So for example, I always like to use the squat for example. The squat is going to work your quadriceps, your hamstrings in the back, It's going to definitely work abs, keeping posture. So whenever we're doing more than one group of muscles, we call that multi-joint, and it also helps to save time as well in your workouts. Then it's also important. Variety is the spice of life, so don't be afraid to mix it up between body weight machines, kettlebells, dumbbells, bands, medicine balls, sandbags. That's fine. Reps. So how many times to lift that weight or do push-ups? Today we're just gonna keep it just some basic ranges here to think about. Generally, for most healthy adults, at 8 to 12 reps. Okay. It's recommended sometimes older adults can go 10 to 15 reps. Okay, but we're going to go right in that rep range there for today. Let's go down to technique there. So technique, we want to use a controlled motion with our movement. So we're not, we're focusing on the muscles that we're actually focusing on. So like, for example, curls, we know what curls are. We wouldn't want to throw the weights up, bending the back. We would want to focus on just isolating the bicep, going smooth and slow. And that's for all movements as well. Okay, let's go up to on top there, okay, to your sets. Today, we're going to recommend between 2 to 4 sets. Again, you can always do more than that, but that's just general there, and that's going to help power and strength. Breathing below. One thing is you do not want to hold your breath while lifting weights. Generally, we talk about you want to exhale as you go against the weight. So for example, if I'm doing a press, shoulder press, inhale as the weight comes down, and then I would exhale as I push that weight away. I don't want to hold the breath, lightheaded there, not good. Recovery, again, depending on what you want to do, generally it can be 30, and I didn't have this in there. On the low end, 30 seconds, and that would be for muscular endurance. And then all the way up to 2 to 3 minutes as you're, going heavier. Okay. And then below that progression, as the muscles adapt, we have to keep challenging them through overload. And I'll talk about Greg and I will both share ideas for how to do that overload. And then the last one there, usually want to do the larger muscle groups first, higher intensity exercises first, okay, before the lower. So those are some of the basic guidelines. Coach, do you have anything to add there on this before we move on? You want to say anything?
No, I think you covered it.
So there's so many different movements we can do. Greg and I talked about sticking to the basics. So we're, and another thing is think about training the movements as well. So here we have some basic movement patterns humans do: a squat pattern, push pattern of some sort, pushing the way away, push-ups, pulling, rowing, pull-ups. Anytime you pull the arms towards the body, we're pulling. Hinging, like a deadlift. This is where your hips flex, extend. So deadlift would be example there. The lunge, taking working the legs, lower legs, and again there's forward, backward, the side, and then twisting, rotation is also important for the core. So this just helps me give you some ideas as you're designing your program there. Coach, do you have anything you want to add for the movement?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that if you're in a gym, and sometimes you're in a gym and there's busy hours and there's a lot of people there, and maybe someone's occupying the machine, don't worry about working the machines. If you have this specific machine in your program, but work the movement. If you know that someone's on this pulling machine that you really like to use, don't worry about waiting for that machine to open up. Find another movement where you're pulling. And like Jim said, don't worry about training the exercise, train the movement. When you train that movement, almost all the same muscles are incorporated. If it's a push, you're using all your pushing muscles. If it's a pull, you're using your pulling muscles. So the gym can be challenging sometimes, but just train the movement and try to get those same muscles worked, because you really want to develop the muscles and don't focus too much on the machine sometimes.
So progressive overload here. So if you look at the picture here, the main thing that we want to take away here is that you are trying to always be improving one of the 4 components here to the right. So as your body is able to adapt, what can you do? Well, number 1, actually add weight to the bar. And okay, if you're doing body weight, you might be able to change the angle of your body. So a push-up, you're like this, right? Horizontal. If you put your legs up on, say, a bench, now you're going to be like this, incline. That would be one way to increase the weight of that movement through a body weight exercise. Okay. Another way is simply doing more reps, adding reps. So again, if you start with 8 reps and you want to build up to 12 reps, 15, then add weight. Another way is you add more sets. So if you start with say 1 set, gradually add 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets. So your volume overall is going up. Another one, I like this one a lot, is reducing the rest time. And what I like about that is, say that you don't have a lot of weights at home. So say you're okay at home and maybe you're doing body weight movements or dumbbells, and you only have like a pair of 10s, 15s, 20s, 8s, let's say. Well, you can make a pair of 10-pounders feel extremely heavy if you cut down the rest time. That same weight is going to feel way, way harder because there's less time for the muscles to recover between themselves. Coach, anything to add?
And the heart rate stays elevated too. So you're getting those cardiovascular benefits by keeping the heart rate up by shortening the rest.
So like Greg and I said, progressive overload is always in your mind. You're always trying to constantly push yourself and try to improve the weights, the reps, or the sets. Rep ranges here. So generally, if you look at this here, the rep ranges, we're focusing today right in that middle rep range, 8 to 12 reps there. And that's going to get that's going to do 2 things. The muscle is going to get stronger from that, but it's also going to get bigger. It's larger as well. So that's why we just really like that rep range, 8, 10, 12 reps. Not to say that you can't go heavier to the left here and getting down into those 6, 5, 4, 3 rep ranges. And that's going to really focus on strength. What is the maximum amount of weight you can lift? So some of you might be interested in that. When we start going to the far right now, when we start doing, 15 reps on up, the muscle's not going to get larger, but your endurance will go up. So you can do more push-ups. Okay, example. Coach, anything there you want to add?
With just the rep ranges, if you're really focused on 8 to 12 reps, and you just make sure that you're always challenging yourself, and just because it says 12 reps doesn't mean you should stop at 12 reps, or just because maybe your goal is 10, but You know, you're feeling really good today and you think you can get that 12, go for that 12. Always push yourself just a little bit farther. And if those weights become too easy, put a little more poundage on it. And it's okay to start down in the 8 to 9 reps, and then just build your way back up to the next 12 and just keep moving on.
And so one way is, you can look at this is today, maybe we've got a lot of people, they're new beginners. Beginners are, we're going to say today is less than 6 months experience weight training. And what's really cool about this, I remember this so well. This is a fun phase. So if you haven't ever lifted before, what's really cool is you get rapid results. Like literally you can see results. Yeah, you're smiling, coach. You recall those days. It's like literally each workout you can see just gets better and better. So enjoy that part. That's the fun part. And as coach, was saying to you before, stick to the basics. It's really, really easy to start getting into an advanced, program and this and this. Stick to the basics, and that's going to give you, the right thing there to do. Another thing is you might want to think about hiring a personal trainer, possibly, just to help you get, started the right way, some tips, your form. And then from there, you can, exercise on your own. So anything coach you want to add there?
Yeah, I like hiring the personal trainer just to get you started, get you comfortable with the equipment, get you comfortable with starting out, or go with a friend who might know what they're doing too. You get that social aspect and there's accountability built in, like Jim talked about earlier, but start out with a buddy if you need to.
So this is like a case study example. So if you look at this, this would be like somebody 45 years old, mother, working, good health, being inactive on and off with kids, athlete in the past, but the key point here, never participated in a structured resistance training program. Wants to get healthier, increase cardio there, muscle tone, lose some weight, healthy, doesn't have any major medical issues there, and can commit to 2 to 3 training sessions per week. So this is what you could do. This is a very scaled down. We looked at, I could definitely add more here, but I just want you to see, this would be like somebody new that hasn't lifted before, and you just want to gently introduce them in. So the reps there are a little bit higher, which means that weight's going to be lower resistance, because we're just really here focusing on just getting comfortable with movement. So it's fun learning about her body. Okay, and you can see there a leg, a push, a pull, some abs, your core. And we just started there actually with just one step there per workout, okay, per exercise there. And then to progress that, the overload, one thing you could do right away is take the same workout, but now add more 2 sets, 3 sets, etc. So that's just a general basic idea there. Coach, do you have anything you want to add for this?
No, I think it looks perfect, and it just shows that you don't need a lot of time to complete something like this.
Thank you. So more now, possibly beginner, advanced people, maybe you've got more than 6 months experience. You know what you're doing, comfortable in the weight room. One of the first things that you probably will see is plateaus. So all of a sudden, all of those rapid results you were doing kind of come to a halt. You're doing the same, you're working out, but you're not quite seeing the changes now from week to week, month to month, the dreaded plateau. So you have to do is dig a little bit deep, and this is where being consistent is more important than ever. And then now you're going to have to possibly think about really now adding in some different strategies here for overload. Coach, anything you want to add here?
Yeah, we'll talk about the different strategies for overload here in a little bit through different schemes, but the main thing is consistency. Just keep after it day after day.
So circuit training is something that is really popular. Basically, circuit training is going from one exercise to the next with little or no rest between them. So number one, it saves time, a lot of time, but also you're going to get your cardio aerobic in as also your resistance training at the same time. So rather than like having to do weight training one day and then cardio the next day, by doing this format, that heart rate is going to definitely elevate because the rest periods are pretty short. Yeah. So this is a really popular format that people follow. I love this one. And you can see here, this one that they're using primarily looks like here, some body weight and machines. Coach, anything about circuit?
Yeah, this is a good example, especially if you have access to some gym equipment. And if you notice, the exercise selection kind of balances out the muscles to where when you're doing one exercise, the previous muscle is being allowed to rest. So if you look at the leg press on top here, after your legs are tired, you go into a seated row where it's using primarily your back muscles. So while you're doing your rowing, your legs are resting. And then you go into a seated leg curl, so you're working the legs again. Go into a chest press, and those leg curls are now resting, so you're ready for the lunge. So it doesn't have to be this exact setup, but just keep in mind when you're moving on to the next exercise, rest the muscle group before that one.
Supersets, another time efficient way to work out. So now supersets are, you're going to work one muscle, you're going to work opposite muscle groups on the body. So I'm going to take you down to the right there. So I had said you're going to do, for example, a dumbbell curl for the biceps. Then you immediately follow an exercise for the back of the arm, tricep push down. And so you can go from muscle group to muscle group like that. And again, it saves time. So a workout that might take 1 hour could be literally cut in half with this. And you can also get that heart rate again elevated a little bit because you're not resting very long in between. So supersets. Coach, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just note the pictures of the workouts here, and just notice that we're targeting two opposing muscle groups. So if you're working, like we got top right, seated row and chest press, if we're doing a push movement with the front side of your body, you're going to pair that up with a pulling movement that works the back side of your body. Again, it keeps the heart rate up, but it allows to condense the time, and then your muscles aren't fatigued as much if you're doing, let's say, I wouldn't recommend doing a chest press and a shoulder press together because you're fatiguing those muscles all on the same side of the body. So just balance out front and back, up and down, and just pair it up to where one muscle group can rest while you're working the other one. And it does save a lot of time.
Pyramid training. So those of you that really want to challenge yourself here, pyramids. So time efficient, challenging, and there is a risk here of pushing too much the volume over training injuries. But basically, pyramids is where you're going to pick a movement. So we can just even say dumbbell curls. Okay, just easy exercise there. We know that one, curls. So a pyramid from light to heavy would be, maybe I've got 10-pound dump, sorry, light to heavy. So I have some 8-pounders, and then I have 10s, and then 12s, 15s. And then as I start with 10 reps, add weight to 8, up to 6, up to 4, to 2. And then you can also go back down from high to low. And that is a very challenging workout. Generally, we would, recommend that for more intermediate advanced trainees, but super fun and super effective. Coach, you have anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I like the pyramid training, especially if you're a little more intermediate, and it'll help you bust through some of those plateaus where you're mixing up the weights, you're mixing up the reps, you're just forcing your body to adapt, because the way your muscles get bigger and stronger is by forcing them to adapt. If you don't put stress on them or pressure on them to adapt, they won't adapt. They'll stay the same. So constantly put pressure on them and yourself, and your body will adapt. Our bodies are very good at adapting to what we can throw at it. And so I would just encourage you to push yourself, and things will adapt.
Another case study here we could look at: 25-year-old male, 6 months training experience, no injuries, wants to get stronger and bigger, and has the time to commit to 3 to 4 days per week of resistance workouts per week. So what that could look like possibly now is, now we're going to focus on really these bigger compound movements. The sets go up. You can see the reps there, they're now 6 all the way up to 12 reps. The rest periods now become a little bit longer, because you're focusing on your strength as compared to your muscular endurance, for the rest times there are less. There's more movement, so the volume overall is higher and more days per week. And we mixed in some compound movements with also isolated movements as well. So dumbbell curls, tricep kickbacks, as well as those bigger compound movements like the rows, the barbell row, things like that. Coach, anything to add on this?
No, this looks like a lot of fun later today.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So to wrap it up, we just want to say, start slow, plan it out, and keep with it. Okay. And then again, focus on progressive resistance, overload, be safe, have fun, always have fun. Enjoy, your training. It's important. Now it's up to you. Go train. Go train. So Coach, why don't we open it up? I know we need
I was going to say, I like that quote you have there too. It's not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you were the day before, which is a great quote, because in the gym, you're training usually by yourself and with yourself, and you're battling with yourself, and it's about you. And don't worry about what other people are doing in the gym. Focus on yourself and just try to get a little better the next day.
So we do have a few minutes left. I don't know if Lauren can maybe monitor the chat box, and maybe Greg and I can just answer some questions, a couple here at least.
Yep. One of the questions in the chat box is, doesn't weight training burn calories for a longer time after workout than aerobic activity?
Yeah, in theory, yeah. And they both, you are burning a higher number of calories after anytime you work out. Anytime there's a very high demand on the body, there is going to be an elevated metabolism for a few hours after. The way muscle works is that it's very metabolically demanding, and that it takes a lot of calories and metabolism to maintain your muscle mass. So the more muscle mass you have, the more calories your body is going to burn at rest, given any day of the week. So just to maintain muscle, it's a lot of demand for the body. So you will burn more calories with more muscle on you.
And then another question is, are there any one-pagers on strength training for pregnancy? Anything to focus on or things to avoid?
What I do know is that I recall is in the third trimester, you do not want to be doing anything where you're lying on your back. And I'm going to actually say that's a bit beyond our scope here today. I would recommend more healthcare. Talk to your doctor about that. Greg, do you have anything off the top of your head that we could talk about for pregnancy?
Yeah, I think your pregnancy, your weightlifting can remain very normal as long as you've been doing it. Keep doing it. I wouldn't say if you find out you're pregnant yesterday and you want to start strength training tomorrow, then talk to your doctor and consult your doctor that way. But if you've been strength training for a long time and you're in that intermediate category and it's something you like doing and you found out you're pregnant, don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing and just take it one day at a time. If there's some days where you can't do a squat because the hips aren't feeling right, then don't squat, but just listen to your body. And again, it comes down to just how experienced you are. Don't start training if you haven't done it before.
Another question here. Do you have any suggestions on exercise to help loosen frozen shoulders?
Now, shoulders are pretty tricky. Everybody's shoulders are a little different. And it depends on if it's a tear or if it's tightness or if it's an old injury or a brand new injury. So shoulders do get a little complicated, but I'm not a physical therapist, so I'll say that. But I did find that just general stretching, it's just gonna be very general stretching, light resistance, and you just gotta, it's a time thing. It doesn't happen overnight, but frozen shoulders are a time thing to where it's light load, aggressive stretching, and it just takes time and consistency to loosen that up. Nothing specific, there's nothing magical, but it's time with the frozen shoulder. Jim, you got anything?
No, sounds good. And we are at time, and I needed to turn it back to Lauren here for her to close us out. If she could.
So I'm going to put a link in the chat here. We ask that you fill out this evaluation if you're willing to. This helps out educators, as well as this is the way you get your wellness points. There's a question in the survey that will ask if you want your wellness points, and then I'll go into details on that. If you need a certificate as well, it'll go over that as well in the survey. When you're taking the survey, it'll ask what series you watched. It's in the Finding Balance series. Let's see here. And I think it goes over the details. Another question I did see in the chat was there will be a follow-up email with the details on this presentation, as well as this is a recorded presentation. So that will be up on the Family Health and Wellness YouTube page once we get closed captioned. Next slide. There are several more webinars still in the May through August series, so you can certainly sign up. There's a link on the side. You can copy that link. There's quite a few more if you're interested in getting your last minute wellness points. You can sign up for those webinars as well. Next one. If you want to engage with the family development or the Family Health and Wellness department, you can follow any of their pages. They got Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and so on. And next, I think that's it.
Well, thank you everybody so much for joining Greg and I this afternoon. If you have any questions, you can contact us. Email addresses are there. So again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed talking about this, so hopefully we can do it again.
Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of the day.
Bye.